to the Wayne State Softball Preview for the GLIAC Media Day. I'm Sports Information Director Jeff Weiss and joined today by Head Coach Gary Bryce. Gary, you're starting year number 34 with the Warriors. How has the time been for you?
Here it's been awesome. I mean, we've had some good teams and have two really good assistant coaches, and it makes the job a lot easier, and really have liked the kids over the 34 years I've been here, so it's been good.
Last year, the Warriors won their third straight GLIAC tournament and went to the College World Series for the third time in program history. What kind of goals does this year's team have?
Well, I think they're hoping that they'll have another shot at the national championship, but there's a lot of things that happen in between, and you have to play well at the end on those particular weekends to get another opportunity. But we have our starting pitchers back, and most of our team is back, so I think their expectations are very high.
I mean, over the years you've told me you always win with pitching, and this year you've got a lot of depth at pitching. You've got Lindsey Butler, Brianna Lee, Mackenzie Beeler, a healthy Mackenzie Beeler, and a freshman in Haley Hurd. Give us a little rundown on your four starters there.
Well, obviously we have our two starters from last year back. Lindsey was Player of the Year in the GLIAC, and Bree was an All-American pitcher, and Max coming off a year where she was hurt, but won 17 as a freshman and gives us a different perspective in throwing. Ball moves but doesn't throw as hard as Bree and Lindsey. And Haley Hurd is someone that has a lot of potential, but probably a year away from being somebody that you would really throw a lot. You never know because you can get injuries, but have high expectations of her being a very good thrower.
In baseball and softball, you often win with strength up the middle. You've got a veteran catcher in Emily Bryce returning, who's been a four-year starter. You've got a veteran at shortstop in Gabby Williams. Nikki Fulton returns at second, and Shannon Hilton up the middle and center field. How does that help the Warriors this year?
Well, obviously, when you have kids that have played those positions for 3 years or 4 years, the maturity, I think, level comes out. One of the things I noticed in the fall that I hadn't really seen in a long time was that players like Gabby and players like Nikki and so on, all of a sudden the smoothness was there. Something you don't see in a freshman or sophomore. Usually they're just hoping to make the play and stabbing at the ball. But just the way they kind of glided around the infield and the outfield gives you, to me anyway, gives me a real understanding that maybe they've arrived as better ball players. So hopefully they have a great year because most of the balls are hit there.
Also in the infield, you've got a veteran, Jade McGarr, at third base. First base is a little bit open because Emily switched off with Amanda Bernard last year. Amanda's graduated. What do you see happening at first base this year?
Well, if we were to play today, Allie Buchanan would be the first baseman. She's really a good athlete. She'll also play some outfield because Emily may move to first, and we have a couple other people, Allie Lintz and Shelby Spano are playing over there. And it all comes down, you got to have a lot of hitting. And last year, we had a lot of tight ball games because the bottom of the order didn't hit really well. And when the top didn't hit, you're kind of struggling. We won a lot of one-run ball games, and hopefully it isn't that as tight this year, and we're able to score. I think we have a better hitting ball club this year, so we'll see. But right now, Allie Buchanan will be our starting first baseman.
You often need to have strong senior leadership. Last year you had Logan White and Julian Grata, veterans along with Amanda Bernard. This year, what do you see the senior leadership coming from, or just leadership in general?
Well, we really, the last few years, have stressed the team. It's always been team, team, team. And I think though we have three captains, when we think the responsibility for us to be very good is that the whole team has to perform as a whole. I think Emily and Jade and Nikki can provide some direction, but hopefully they're not the sole direction of how the team goes. No one's more important than the team, including the coaches. The coaches are in that product right there.
In terms of the outfield, you lose Logan White, but you've got Shannon back in center. Lindsay would play right field when she doesn't pitch, but what other options do you have in the outfield for this year?
Well, right now we'd probably move Devin to left. Again, if we were playing today, we'd move Devin to left, and we have a young lady named Kristen Lucas who is a freshman left-handed hitter that was a center fielder in the summer ball, but really does hit the heck out of the ball. And right now, if we were to play, though she has a strained quad, assuming that she'll be playable, that would probably be our outfield, and all three of them can run and get the ball and have decent arms. And so, again, we'd put Lindsay out there. If Lindsay wasn't pitching, we might put Allie Buchanan out there if somebody else is playing first. So we do have some options out there, and the speed is fairly good for them.
Last year at the Super Regionals, Emily Cabo, a freshman, came up with a big home run. So obviously not only if these kids aren't in the lineup at a position, but you could also use them as a designated player. A lot of depth in that area as well.
Yeah, we do, because you have Emily Cabo, who was our primary DP last year. You have Shelby Spano, who is a home run hitter, actually, and if she does things right, really can drive the ball. And Allie Lentz has really been hitting the ball well the last month or two. So you got three young ladies right there that we can count on, hopefully, to deliver at particular times, and hopefully get them into the lineup where they have opportunities to bat more than once. And if that happens, then we're going to be pretty good.
Yeah. We mentioned a couple of the newcomers, Haley Hurd and Kristen Lucas, earlier. You had two other freshmen, mainly infielders, and Kylie Barrett and Haley Lazarick. What do you expect from them this year?
They're two potentially very good ball players. Haley Lazarick is behind Jade, and she knows that she's behind that. We're moving her to the outfield. She has a strong arm. Kylie Barrett's probably Nikki's replacement next year, and she was a shortstop in high school, so we have to get her in when we have opportunities, because we don't want our four freshmen not to play at all. That would make them freshmen next year, and that would be disastrous, so we don't want to do that.
Thanks again for your time, Coach. This has been the 2015 Wayne State Softball Preview.
Thank you.